this is Dan Coates, your favorite solution evangelist at ACI Worldwide, and this is Payment Tokens Explained, Part 2. Well, in Part 1, we talked about PANs and FPANs and DPANs, oh my. So if you want to check that out, go back to Part 1. But today we're going to be talking about PAR and network tokens. So let's talk about these things. PAR, payment account reference. It's really an issuer token, but it can't be used for payment. The reason why it exists is because of all the tokenization, and especially, for example, DPAN values, because DPANs can change every so often, uh, fairly frequently. So if I have that, then it's very hard for me to say, oh, this card holder came back to me again because I can see it's the same account number. Because all of a sudden we start seeing things like it's been tokenized for Google Pay and tokenized for Apple Pay and tokenized for this other value. And I've got a network token and everything else. We'll talk about that in a moment. But now all of a sudden, we start losing the identity of a consumer or a specific consumer's account. So if we want to implement something like frictionless loyalty, this becomes an issue. So it's a unique 29 character value. Cannot be used for payment, but we can, in fact, confirm identity. So maybe we can potentially use an existing card on file. How does this work? Well, this is just one use case because there's other use cases where if we're using a device on the left-hand side, that device may in fact already have that par value. But in this case, let's just say, hey, we've got a card, we send it up for authorization, and in the response data coming back, we get the par value back, and everybody along the pathway gets it. There's other examples, other use cases where the card network generates it, where, like I said, it's potentially being generated by the device that's sending the 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 token up in the first place. So there's a lot of options, but the point is that everybody along the path should be able to see that par value, or is generating that par value or sending it out. So let's talk about network tokens. These are tokens that are generated obviously by a payments network. Today, they're currently used for recurring transactions. So when we think about that, think about subscription, think about top up, think about recurring non scheduled. So I'm just, paying with a stored payment credential. It's part of the stored credential framework, and it protects us against lost or stolen and expired card numbers. Because if I lose the physical plastic, this still lives on because nothing was ever exposed, and it's unique per acquirer slash merchant ID. So you can't take it with you. If you move to another acquirer, you're gonna have to get a different token. It's only unique for that merchant. You can't if you happen to steal the values from the merchant, for example. You're not going to be able to do anything with it because it only works with that merchant ID alone. So let's show how this works. As part of the stored credential framework, there's some flags you can set on an initial transaction. And you say, hey, this is an initial transaction. I'm storing it for such and such purposes. And it goes upstream. And then on the way back, we get a network token. So that means on recurring transactions, I can then go ahead and send that network token up and it gets translated and sent onwards to the issuing bank. So that's really pretty neat. Well, that's all the time we have this time around. Next time, we're going to finish it up with acquirer and merchant tokens. Stay safe and take care.